that is talking about how to use the planner, especially when we have a time period where we have a lot of fog. And that's actually why I created the planner this year. It was a big muse for me looking at the astrology and seeing how much heavy, foggy, cloudy energy was out there, and what an important pivotal year it is, and how we can let that fog, we can let that fatigue, and we can let that really, I mean, I hate to be like this, but in some ways mind control through social media, through the collective fog, create situations and where there's supposed to be turning points where a lot of us are just numb to them. Did you get your ball? No, you're not getting that. Sit down, come up here. So the importance of staying conscious is really here, and so that's why I made the planner, and I want to show you guys some tools to work with the planner a little bit more, and then also talk about the kind of going along with the planner, the program that I have developed for staying connected to each other, because there's the power of doing the work on your own, and then there's the power of the collective positive. So I wanted to create a group that's traveling through 2020 together, working with a planner, because I know how it is. You buy a planner and you're like, that's great, and then you put it on your shelf or you put it somewhere, and it's hard to work with it. And that's actually why I created the planner as well, is because I wanted something where I had no excuse to not work with it. So I figured if I made it, it would make me want to work with it more, which it does. So Kristen says so I was asking Kristen where this Capricorn conjunction of Pluto and Saturn, which is really important for the collective, but also, looking at personal life too, it's going to somehow manifest to create some destruction energy, but also through that comes power, personal power. And so she says it's in her 6th to 7th house, which 6th house is day-to-day work and routines. It's Virgo's house of service, and we have to be of service to ourselves to serve anyone else. It's the house of the nurse. It's also the house of like the priestess energy. And then the 7th house is marriage, partnership, any legal document that binds us to another, and justice, and so interesting spot for that, for all the things you're going through. And so let me just first start, because I'm going to go over the planner, but let me just first start with the group that's starting tomorrow. We meet the third Thursday of every month at 6 p.m. We go through the workbook pages in the planner, but we also are talking about the collective astrology transits of that month. So whenever we move into a new season, a new zodiac sign, the sun's moving into, we'll be moving into Aquarius. So we're going to start with Aquarius with our class tomorrow, and talking about just themes and energies so that you can work to manifest in your life, and looking at what house or houses it's traveling through. And then we always have the new moon wherever the sun is, because the sun and the moon will conjoin, come together, and that's where the new moon is. So every time the sun moves into a new sign, we're going to have a new moon in that area. So that's a seed planting opportunity to set intention, to work with the energy. So if we can take very surfacey astrology where we know our sun sign, and sometimes we know where the full or the new moon is happening, we can take it even a few steps further by looking at where it was happening in our sky at the moment we were born. So when the moment we were born, what was the point that was straight up in the sky? What was the eastern horizon? Where was this fitting into our chart? And it'll show us the area of life that we're working with. So we can take that information, the transits that are happening, and then also work with that on a personal level to know that house energy and how to create change or create growth from knowing that, okay? And it also can help us when we're going through a challenging time period, because even if it's challenging, it's an opportunity for growth. And so to know what the lessons are can be everything. It can be such a big shift for everyone. And I know this because I've worked with enough people, and people see me on social media and they work with me privately, and sometimes we get to know each other enough where they start learning things about my life, and they're always amazed and like, oh, like you have a real life and like real things have happened in your life. And I think this is one of the things that our society tends to do, is to put people up on a pedestal or to bring people down. And we're all just figuring this out. We're all just souls figuring this out. And one of the things that surprises people is because I am so happy and because I appear so happy, and I'm always focusing on the positive. And that's just a choice. And so I just want to encourage you, if you're interested in joining this group, the choice that we're making is to not overlook the negative things, definitely to honor what's coming up, but to do so in a way that's going to be pushing us forward, that's going to be activating the lesson so that we can be stronger and even more powerful in our lives, okay? So just to say, if you're interested in that program, we start tomorrow, and I'll post the link below if you want to join us. It's less than $20 a month for the year. So you pay $198 for the whole year. You join us the third Thursday of every month. If you miss that call, you'll be emailed the recording, and it's just gonna be a helpful way. We look at everybody's charts in the program. It's a small enough group that we're gonna be able to do that, and I'm super excited to do that. Let's talk about the planner. So let's see. I'm just gonna start with some of the things that might be confusing to people, and of course I have written in here quite extensively, so you're gonna have to excuse my writing, which I could use one that I haven't written in, but I wanted to use my personal one because I think it can be helpful. And one of the main things was, for me, because I'm a triple Leo probably, I wanted to have space for people to be creative and to do their own thing and to just like have words or phrases. And some of it, like even like looking back, I'm like, oh wow, you know, I probably could have explained this a little better, but I think it was for a purpose of inviting in your own creativity and inviting in your own kind of like alignment for what feels good to you. So like in my 2020 vision, one of the things that I wrote for everyone was kind of like knowing your values, knowing our basic needs to know our values. And then from there, I kind of wrote all these things that I where I find balance in those activities. So just like things like that, I wanted to just point out that it's like for you to play with. The other one is like planning around your values is like you figure out what your values are, and then you create all these little bubbles that would be activities that would help you be in alignment with those values. So for one of mine, it's spending quality time with my kids. So then I put all the activities that I'd like to do that to me equal quality time. And likely, I left this space open because I want to ask my kids what they value from our time together. Because if I'm just the only one doing the things I like to value that time together, it's not going to be quality time, right? So checking in with other people. The other page that I wanted to show you, and then I'll get into like the weekly, sorry, I think I spilled something on this page, was focusing on your pleasure and looking at your Vesta and your Juno placements to understand your pleasure more and what brings you pleasure. So for me personally, I have Vesta and Virgo in the second house. And so I burn my fire bright by focusing on my plants, service to what I have. So one of the things that if we're friends, you might hear me say is, I feel like I just need to stay home and take care of my plants. And if you know me, you also know I do travel a little bit around. You know, I kind of scurry around, but I always come back to, I've got to tend to my plants. I've got to tend to the things that I have in my home. And that makes me feel like I'm grounded and I have pleasure because it's about that hearth and taking care of that hearth. So if you had Vesta in your 10th house, that might be tending to or working with working with things in your workspace or in your public sphere, like cleaning up your, like, I'm not someone who goes through and like cleans up the pictures in my Facebook or something like that, but like if you had 10th house Vesta, that might be the thing that brings you pleasure. So that's the one thing. And then Juno, because Juno is about commitment and like I'm committed and I'm showing up for myself. and mine is in my 3rd house in Libra. So committed to my writing, committed to seeking justice in the world, and having a part of me always coming from that frame or that lens is going to bring me a sense of commitment to it myself. And when I move away from that, I feel not in my center. I feel not very grounded. So just something why I added those in is because they can help you to see what brings you, first of all, balance, but also pleasure and groundedness in your life, okay? So, blah, 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 blah. I am on my 2nd cup of coffee today, and I did go to yoga. So that means that, let's see where my week is. Okay, so here's my week. Now I'm going into the week because this is where the questions were. One of the questions was, which is a very good question I may add because I didn't explain this, but I have to check off because today's Wednesday, right? And I went to yoga again today. I have my green smoothie on here. So, okay, so this habit tracker, I called it the consistency tracker because I'm trying to be consistent. So that's the word. I don't really like the word habit, but if you Google habit tracker, you'll see a lot of them. But I like consistency, and you can see I'm not a very consistent person, but I'm working on it. So yoga is on there, and green smoothie, and a walk. And I don't think I've taken a walk all week. It's been a weird week, okay? But I am taking Paco as soon as this video's over. Uh-oh, you probably heard that. Hi Joy, how are you? It's been a while. Oh my goodness, hope everything's well. Okay, so green smoothie. I haven't had a single green smoothie this week either, guys. This is life. This is life, right? But I have made it to yoga twice this week, so I'm going to give myself a thumbs up for that. So the consistency tracker is all about what are the things, and likely I should have on here since I just talked about my my Vesta and my Juno, I should have something that goes along with that, which the green smoothies, I guess, is kind of like that. And maybe I should have writing on there, which I tend to do every day anyway. But, okay, so that's just one area. So that's just tracking the habits or the consistency that you want to have in your week. If you want to work out every, 3 days a week, then that's just your opportunity to say, I did it, check. Because I love that. That's like, there's nothing to me more satisfying than checking things off my list. And I love doing that. So I like having that. So that's why that's there. What else do people... Oh, so... this, I did one of these things, so I get to check that off too. But I'd be happy if I got this dragon slayed. Well, I still haven't emailed Shipwrecked in Portland because I want to set up a workshop there. And she asked me to email her, and I still haven't done that. But I'll be happy because today's only Wednesday, and I still have my golden days. Yes, just to check it off. That's all. That's why we make lists. No other reason, really. Why? To look at it and say, I didn't do all these things? And that's another reason why I make short to-do lists, And I put things on there like, smile. I'm just kidding. So that's like a work thing. And then I don't have a personal dragon. I didn't put one down. I think maybe I did. I think I said, no. Maybe that was last week. I think on one of them I said, go on 2 dates, which that always, I'm like, it just doesn't seem top priority these days. So, then I just love writing random things. Like here I wrote, it's a full body experience. Yes. I don't know why I wrote that there. I don't know when I wrote that there. But for some reason, it makes me feel happy to see it. I'm like, yeah, it should be a full body yes, right? So little things you could write, little notes, my appointments, and then on the next, I just left lots of space. Like here, I'm doing some math over here. Like this is my brain. And this week I'm celebrating, I did my taxes. I'm grateful for all these things. And then I just like writing things. Like at the top here is a reminder. I say, forgiveness is a big theme for me this week. I'm forgiving everyone that I feel has wronged me. Boom, done. It's on my planner. It's like a checklist. So I wrote it, and so it's done. So now I'm just blabbering on. Oh, one other thing that I thought was really cool, because I made it, so I must think it's really cool, is that we are in the last quarter moon. So this week, we have the last quarter moon on Friday. In Libra, which is interesting because Friday is ruled by Venus and Venus rules Libra, and so a very Venusian last quarter moon. So at the last quarter moon, I tried to do it. I think I did it most of the last quarter moons, is to go back. So this weekend I'll probably do this. Go back, process, reflect, notice what situations, time periods that helped you feel free, what what synchronicities, flow, miracles, etc. occurred that brought you joy. Like looking back and really looking at this last moon cycle, and it was an eclipse cycle, and so looking back and bringing awareness to what came up for you. Then we move into Aquarius season. And these are the worksheets that we'll be working in the group. And the group starts tomorrow. So if you're interested in it, I'm going to post a link below. And it's a group that we move through the whole zodiac. And we start with Aquarius and we end with Capricorn. So our last meetup will be in December of 2020. And that's all I have to say about that. That's level 1 of that program. And level 2 of that program is working with me individually, seasonally. So we do winter, spring, summer, and fall. And we do a 90-minute healing. And it's not only energetic healing, but also looking at your chart more deeply and looking at your goals for the year, because we often set goals at the beginning of the year. And then, we hope we meet those, but a lot of times we don't. So we're meeting seasonally, and what a lot of people have said, it's just so nice to know that those are coming around the corner. And they also, the things that we talk about, they're like ready and working on them so that for our next meeting. So it's just some kind of motivation, but also kind of amazing and unlike any other type of therapy, coaching, etc., because it goes into your chakras and your chart and just what's coming up for you to not only clear the energy, but also get the most out of that season for looking at your chart and looking at what might be coming up for you. I know that a few of you had questions. I don't know if you're still on here, but if you have any questions about the planner, I'm here, so you can ask your question. Another page, and to go ahead and type that into the chat if you have a question. I'm just going to show, this is the last page I'll show, and this is actually from Planetary Power, and I wanted to add it because Planetary Power is a program that's near and dear to my heart, because it was all just channeled to me around connecting the chakras with the planets. So we literally go through each week, each one of the chakras and each one of the planets, and I put it in the planner because I think it can help so much. So much understanding can come from knowing the days of the week and how they correlate to not only the planet, but your personal chart placement of that planet. So for example, if Monday, we know a Monday is a more introspective, it's moon day, but then where is your moon in your chart, right? And then you can take some little notes and know what things might be nourishing to do on that day to celebrate or amplify those energies. So that's also in there, and so you'd need to know your chart enough to look at that and see what house your moon is in. There are some apps and places where it will just straight up tell you what house it's in without you having to decipher or look at anything. I feel like Cafe Astrology is one place. I know that CoStar, the app CoStar, I think that's what it's called, is also another place. And if you guys know of any other places, let me know. But if you go on Astro, I love astro.com, but some people still find it confusing to know their houses. And then obviously you could sign up for a chart reading with me so that you know all this information and you know what house your moon is in. So I guess no one has questions, but I'm around. So you can always shoot me a question. I love your questions about the planner because it makes me feel like you're actually using your planner, which makes me so happy. And I really, for me, this planner is a big way of uniting the light and having us all working towards our goals, the light workers of the world, and really not getting bogged down with this heavier energy that is all around us and all over social media and all over the world, and really just knowing that the more that we hold down this light, And that's why I was talking about like as a group as well, but also individually. The more that we're holding down this light, the more that we're going to see beautiful change in this year and the following few years. So definitely reach out if you're interested in joining that group, or if you just want to connect. I'm here, and have a great day. Bye, guys.